Morning everyone, or afternoon actually. I'm already starting this video off on the wrong foot. Today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons on why you should buy an Evo in 2020. Got a bunch of reasons why you want an Evo 10. More specifically, I think wanting to buy an Evo in general. I think they're both, all 3 of them, all 5 of them, all 10 of them, they're all amazing cars. I think more specifically, I guess, let's stick to just the 10 because that's the one I have to go ahead and, base everything off of. But first things first, the Evo 10. I think it's one of the best looking JDM cars for the money you can get right now. I see a lot of people trying to copy the Evo 10 formula, which is, the 4-door, all-wheel drive turbo car. None of them really compete with the 4B11. Personally, this 5-speed is literally made of diamond. Like, you can't break it. Well, I take that back. You can break it, but you need about 1,000 horsepower to do it. But to styling, I've owned several cars. None of them just really look as good as this. Number 2. Super easy to make power on. And why I think that's more applicable to 2020, I think it's really important to have something to wrap your brain around, especially right now. Everybody's got everything going on right now. Terrible things are going on. People, losing their jobs, and it's relatively easy to mod. Like, you can work on these, no problem. You don't need much to work on them. I personally have a carport I work in, I can change spark plugs, the only thing I really don't want to do is change oil, but who really wants to change their own oil? It's a pain in the ass. But yeah, no, it's a fun car. There's a lot of tuning preferences for it. There's a lot of support for it. More specifically in the Pacific Northwest, we got English racing over here. It's just fun to do. I got another video I'm working on right now, Journey to 650 wheel horsepower. And the videos are actually coming up pretty soon for that. So if you haven't seen that first video, take a look at it. And I kind of go into the mods that I have for the car. But yeah, it's easy to mod, easy to get tons of power out of these. Just for example, mine, I got bolt-ons, baby. We're making 550 wheel horsepower already. So that would be the second reason. Easy to mod, fun to mod. You can do the work yourself if you really wanted to. Yeah, and then number 3, the value in these cars are appreciating, and they're only going to appreciate. I don't think, if you buy this car right now, the value to the dollar on these cars is so high right now. Personally, the ones I would start nabbing if you could, the low mileage 08s. Now that might be a little controversial, just because the 08s tend to have a little bit more issues. Change the timing chain, you got the same thing for the most part. A couple other revisions you can make to the pinion gears in the transmission, but other than that, they're great deals. Right now, I think my car blue booked at, for the mileage it's at, we're at like 90,000 miles right now. Blue booked at $23,000, and right before this COVID thing hit, I picked it up for 18, and that came with a new motor in it. So ever since I bought it, it's only gone up in value. I think there's always going to be a buyer for this kind of car. I've already had offers of around $28,000 for the power I'm making and how clean it is. So again, incredible bang for your buck. If you just decide to do bolt-ons, these things won't break. I was just talking to somebody who has the Hyundai Genesis 2.0 who slapped a 6.466 on it, redlined the piss out of the damn thing. And keep in mind, those have, weaker rods in them, and then they have a different revised head that gets less airflow. So this is definitely a little bit more of a stout version of that, and he just beat the living hell out of it. I also have a bunch of friends that are running bolt-ons, and they're hitting around 150,000 miles, and they're just not breaking. So that would be 3. Just overall value, I think, is what I'll categorize that as. 4, high horsepower builds. 2020, you got a lot of time again to really work on these. You could get a bolt-on turbo like mine, ATP 3582 Gen 2, and you're over 500 wheel horsepower. So really, if you're doing like a budget build per se, if you really want to get cheap, you just throw 2,800 bucks at this thing. Or if you want to go crazy or get an actual turbo kit, you can get to 500 horsepower really easy. I really don't like bad-mouthing Subaru because I love Subaru, but the amount of money you have to spend to get even close to that is absurd. You need a whole new motor. You can do 500 horsepower on this without cams. That being said, it's easy to do cams on this. It's all right there. You just get an air compressor. You can do valve springs and retainers there as well. Just make sure the valves are, have an air compressor to compress the cylinder, and boom. There you go. So yeah, honestly, power would be one thing that is not lacking in these cars. Bolt-ons, you make around 350, dynojet to 380 I've seen, just depending on your motor. I've kind of noticed that my car in general seems to be a little bit higher on the horsepower range. I've seen similar, precision 6466 setups with cams, and they just touch 500. So I mean, it really just depends. Obviously, the treatment of the car. Mine was a brand spanking new motor. So, and number 5. This one was a tough one actually. I couldn't really think of anything for 5 that I really felt like it was important to mention. Other than obviously 2020 being a tough year, but I finally kind of nailed it down, and it kind of goes with value, I guess. If you ever need to get rid of your car, you don't have to worry about losing any money. Like, you really don't. Unless, of course, you just paid a stupid amount of money for your car, like 30 grand for an 08. But you don't have to worry about losing your money. Also, they're not making any more of these, so you have one of the most unique things on the road as well. So I'll probably get into a couple more than just 5 things. I actually had a message sent to me of like things that are great about these cars. But 2020 is more specifically for the car. Also, you're not driving it much in 2020, so you're keeping the mileage low. And when you have an appreciating car like this, like my car was valued much higher than I bought it for, and it's only been a year. So you're not putting miles on it, for one, or you shouldn't be anyways. Unless you have to commute from work, then that's fine. Even then, you're still not losing much value. But yeah, also too, a lot of manufacturers are putting their parts up on sale. I don't know if anybody's noticed. Map Performance, ETS is struggling a little bit, but just because they're running into worker problems right now in terms of like the turnaround time, so they don't have enough hands to start making things. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm sure everybody could add a ton of things on here that reasons for keeping their Evo or buying it during 2020. I will say I've been seeing a lot more deals come up, and I hope the people that are selling their Evos aren't going through any major financial hardship, which is probably what's going on right now. But I think this is going to be one of the cheapest years for people to pick up their Evo 10s or 8s or 9s. So definitely keep an eye out there. Again, with how crazy 2020 has been lately, I think it really forces people to get outside. For me, the Evo has really given me a reason to go outside, kind of cruise around. I can't think of anybody who's ever said that they've driven their Evo and they're at a miserable time. If you are having a miserable time, I'm sorry, this isn't the car for you, because I have never, ever hated driving this thing. It's put a smile on, even when it broke the first time. I've never had a bad time driving this car. I think it's also too, for the car community too, if you're in the Portland area, having this car around, just also meeting people that have the car as well, it's such a blast to kind of cruise with other people. And just like my buddy said too, one of the reasons he said is, F bitches, get money. Finish your builds. This is the time to do it. And if you want to make a Huracan look stupid, which I've done by the way, just slap a big old Garrett turbo, precision turbo on there, and boom, for $20,000+ you have a car that's faster than a Mercy or whatever the hell, a Huracan. But yeah, other than that, guys, I thought I would do this video because I thought it's just fun. I'll probably throw some videos of my car in here for people who haven't seen it. But if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We are trying to finish out the 10 to get the 650 wheel horsepower. Things have obviously been delayed a little bit because English Racing, it's time. Luckily, they're my boys over there. They just reached out to me this week. We might be able to crank out that 650 horsepower this Friday. So it just depends on how everything goes. Right now we have a little manifold leak that we're dealing with, but yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be the fastest car I've definitely ever had. Let's see here, straight road. Scrapey. Anyways, guys, love you all. Hope to see, you know, more content for evos out there. I'm always looking to get inspired, so if you guys ever have any tips or tricks on how to, you know, work with the YouTube algorithm, let me know. I definitely am, I'm new to this, but I love it. This is honestly my passion, and I would love to help in the community any way I can. If you're new to making videos, please follow me and I'll follow you back. I want to make a community where we can all talk about our cars and everybody can kind of help build off of that. So again, this is Student Drivers. My name's Alex. If you don't want to call me Student Drivers, it's kind of a weird name. But again, thank you for watching, and you have a great